He's like a Jack in the Box.
Ready?
3, 2, 1, let's go.
All right, hey Jimmy, how you doing?
Good.
Welcome
Welcome to
back
another
to
edition of the Kitchen Party.
Yeah, it's Thursday night. I think we should start calling these like Thirsty Thursdays. Or we're getting it's becoming a common theme here with bars and bar owners.
Facebook. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, there we are.
Looks like we're live, and this is our third weekly edition of the Kitchen Party, our podcast, and myself, Mark Owens, and good friend. I don't know if he's listening. Jimmy Sheehan.
I'm here.
You're here. All right,
I'm
sounds
here.
good. And we are here joined by two long-term friends of both of us. Actually, I guess long-term friends of the show, the old Kitchen Party show. Rebecca Campbell and Pat Campbell. And thank you guys for joining us. Yeah.
Our pleasure.
Looks like Pat's about to go to a riot in the streets of Belfast or something there with a with a mask on, you know. So
following the guidelines, boys. Following the guidelines.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, everyone's healthy in the family, right? You guys are all good?
Yes. Yep. Everyone's good. Yeah.
And you survived the shutdown. Congratulations, your first day opening with patrons inside.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. It's been quite a challenge just trying to map out the pub in regards to sections of the pub that you can't use, or what's a barrier, what's not a barrier,
Right.
So, trial and error, so many unknowns, and we're just going to figure this out together. A lot of policing. I'm imagining coming up in the next.
Yeah, it's a learning curve for everyone because none of us has ever gone through this before.
Right.
Hopefully we never go through it again. Like Pat, I will say one thing that hasn't survived the pandemic is your mustache. I'm trying to figure out what we got going on here, but yeah.
My wife really loves caterpillars, so it's like that time of year, and there's no caterpillars outside. She said, "Will you please grow a mustache?" So a
really big furry one.
Yeah, it's not November, but
you look like Ron. You look like Ron Jeremy.
Yeah.
He wishes.
Yes.
People say to me, Rebecca, I can't believe you let him do that. You let him grow that mustache. To which I respond, do you really think I have any control over him and what he does? I mean, the more I would protest, the more he would grow something like that. So
yeah. Absolutely. So, hey, and just kind of maybe just for the listeners tuning in, that there's a lot of people listening in that maybe don't know a little bit about your guys' background, and I guess where we all kind of met and stuff, and like being ladies first, and Rebecca, maybe give us a little background on kind of where you've come from and all that good stuff. And we'll get into more about the bar and the dancing and Lord of the Dance as we go through it, but a little background for the listeners.
We want to know Rebecca's story.
Yeah, forget Pat. He can come back in 10 minutes.
You don't mind.
Well, I am from Dublin, so a bit of an outsider here, being from Dublin and Irish in Cleveland.
Yeah, you and Fran Doherty.
Because we're not from Mayo, but
I hear you.
Nevertheless, we've been embraced, right? So yeah. I mean, I'm from Dublin. I grew up in Dublin. I did a nursing degree in Belfast. Then I moved to London and worked in London as a nurse. And then I had given up Irish dancing at that point, but got back to it in my sort of early 20s. Ended up going to an audition with a friend, and I had no intentions of leaving my life in London, but the audition went well, and then I ended up moving to Las Vegas for 7 years, where actually I met Pat in Newcastle in England at rehearsals for Lord of the Dance. But yeah, my background in Irish dancing is I kind of started when I was about 7 or 6, and then danced all the way through. I danced for Olive Hurley, first of all, and then I danced for Inishalga, which was a very big school in Dublin. And Irish dancing was kind of pretty much my life as a teenager and a younger kid. Yeah, I've got a brother and a sister. I'm the youngest of three. Nothing really very interesting, to be honest.
It's very interesting.
We'll find something as the show goes on, no doubt.
Yeah, well, then I met himself. And when I met Pat, I was, happily going out with an Irish fella when I was living in London. I'd been going out with somebody for like 3.5 years at that point. But then I met himself, and then sure, the rest is history,
Yeah, well, we can't help you now. Sorry. So
It was the mustache, huh?
yeah.
Mustache, yeah, he had a big mustache back then too. I know. He was a total charmer. Couldn't help himself.
Yeah. So Pat, what's your version?
My version of that, or where I came from and all that?
Yeah, where you
yeah,
came
sure.
from.
Yeah.
Give us the whole background. We want to know your story.
I was born on the west side of Cleveland. My father, Patty, was from a place called Valley Croy, which is in County Mayo, small kind of, as you guys would say, culty kind of countryside town. And my mom was Irish American. I guess back then they used to call them either you were known as a greenhorn or a narrowback. So I guess she was a narrowback. But my grandparents on her side, one was from Ackle and the other one was from Newport. So grew up in the West Side, West Side Irish. Everyone, stuck together.
Still do.
Yep, and still do. The tradition is still rich. I went to grade school, Catholic grade school, St. Vincent de Paul. Went to St. Edward High School. Went to John Carroll. Played basketball at St. Ed's. Played basketball at John Carroll, and then was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to audition for Lord of the Dance my junior year at John Carroll, which was crazy how all that happened about, telling a college, a university, hey, I'm going to go, can I leave? Basically a month early. And they were, John Carroll was really tremendous. They let me go to the World Championships, which Lord of the Dance coincidentally had the auditions right after Lord of the Dance, or right after the World Championships led into the auditions. So we, John Carroll let me take 7 finals, and I had to write 7 papers in 2 weeks.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
like in order to go, and I actually had to come back a week early in May, just to to fill out some like transcripts, paperwork. But that's how that happened, and I was fortunate enough to be part of the final 35 that made it to Vegas. Just like Rebecca, it started with about 100 every week. Either you got a per diem, which you guys know is like a weekly allowance. If you got that, you were golden. If you got your British Airways ticket, it wasn't so good. So it really was one or the other.
Wow. The one-way ticket, huh?
Yeah, there was Americans, there was Irish, English, Scottish, Welsh. It was, but we'll get more into that. But it was great. It was I was fortunate that I was kind of tall, if that helps. A lot of the guys there were small, so I always got thrown on the outside. Me and James that Crawford here, so we were bosom buddies over there. So
Donegal was in the middle.
The funny thing about Donegal was in the middle. I mean, Donegal actually, he didn't make the cut, right? So he didn't make the cut for Vegas, right? Because they said, he was 16. Like a lot of these kids were 16, landing in Vegas. The first time they ever get there, you're making $400 in a check, and you're handed $320 cash after the show on a Tuesday night. Wow. And then like $720 after taxes, accommodation paid for. If I was 16, I would know. I was 21. So, I had a little bit of understanding. I guess not. I guess they were smarter. They stayed in. A lot of these people were like, Rebecca and I always laugh about this. A lot of these people were like, oh yeah, I bought my second house in London. And I'm like, house? I was like, I just put 100 on black or red, hoping it came up. And we would do that. You can ask Rebecca. once we got that 320, there'd be about 5 of us, or we'd be walking out, or we'd say, hey, black, what's it going to be? Red, black or red. And either you walked out with 420 or 220. It was that simple.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, that's pretty much a little bit of background of me. Grew up on the West Side, and I have an older brother, an older sister. We're awesome. They're the best. Unfortunately, both my parents are deceased, so we are like glue. We stick together. Us, the McIntyre.
You're a close-knit family. Yeah.
Mhm.
The Lenahans, like we're like everyone is stuck together through everything, which is phenomenal. You always hear these horror stories of families that fall out over the smallest things, over like a little piece of land in Ireland. It's that simple, and it's especially what we've gone through in the last 2 months. It should really open people's eyes to make amends and just do what you can to just get back to basics. That's all it takes is a simple phone call, or be that person to make that phone call. Don't stay stubborn. And unfortunately, that's an Irish kind of way, I
Forget everything but the grudges.
exactly, a lot of too many people take it to the grave, and it's not good. So
No, life's too short and too precious.
It's not healthy at all.
right.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, that's a great, just a great overview of where you've come from. And I always love hearing John Carroll stories. And it's funny, you had to write 7 papers in 2 weeks. I struggled to write 7 papers in 1 year there. So fair play to you. So
Yes, you're a John Carroll boy, right?
yeah, absolutely. That's why he came to America. So anyway.
That's where Mark and I met, when he was at John Carroll, and we were doing our first radio show, Celtic Crossroads.
Yeah, back in the days.
Yeah.
This all kind of came full circle. So
yeah. So I get back to Rebecca. So Rebecca was basically, the next question was from her Tipperary guy. It was, I think, will you marry me? And I was a young 21-year-old, and she said charmer, cheeky charmer, by the way. I used to get her. I used to get Rebecca and a girl called Josephine a mat. We used to do like a yoga mat. Like we used to do these yoga mats, and I used to get them one. Not, I guess kind of hitting on Rebecca, but kind of hitting on both of them, and then whatever one kind of. No, I'm just kidding.
That's the first time I've ever heard that now. She's like, you could have been married to Josephine.
Thank God this isn't live or anything, So.
Josephine's awesome. Josephine's great.
Pat, you're sleeping in the garage tonight.
Right.
Won't be the first time.
But it was phenomenal. How that ended was like we were all one. We were close to family. So whenever we left Newcastle, we were told we were only going to be off for a couple weeks, and then we would be, we'd be in Vegas or whatever. And so we exchanged numbers the night before we left Newcastle, and it was like, oh, stay in touch. We'll see you in Vegas or whatever. Give me a call. And I was like, I'm going to call, Rebecca, she's with her boyfriend or whatever. And I called, left a message, and then Rebecca had the pleasure of calling back and talking to my dad. But I did not understand a word that he said. So I come home and he's like, oh, someone called Rebecca. And I'm like, who? And then I was like, no way. When did she, and then I knew kind of right then, he had to, oh my God, I have to call her back, and blah, blah, here we are.
There you go.
And she smelled a Clinique Happy from women. Solid. And little did I know, but so my mom was devastated when I left for Vegas. I mean, when I left the World Championship, she was devastated. She cried. You'd swear that I was going off. I would never come back. So she sent me this little white teddy bear, and it said, greetings and love from Cleveland, Ohio, right? That I had in Newcastle, England. And Rebecca sprayed that teddy bear when I left with Clinique Happy. See?
She knew what she was doing.
And you thought he wasn't paying attention. Huh?
And Rebecca will probably tell this story about the Sing Any Irish song. You'll like this story, remember?
Oh, yeah. I have to be honest. So there's 5 years between myself and Pat. I'm 5 years older than him.
I thought it was the other way around. I thought he was older.
That's the way I feel.
So I'm 5 years older. So in Newcastle, so he was 21. I was 26.
Oh, wow.
So I have this, there's a big difference, big age difference between 21 and 26.
Oh,
And
yeah.
26,
Cradle snatcher, yeah.
yeah, totally. You know the way you think you have it all going on when you're 26. And I thought to myself, who is this 21-year-old buck getting me a yoga mat every morning and whatever? I mean, I thought he was cute, but I was like, you know, not like overly impressed. But then he was like, he said to me, name any Irish song. I can sing you any Irish song. And I was like, all right. I said, sing me anything from Christy Moore. And he responded, who's Christy Moore?
Oh boy. You guys shouldn't be. You shouldn't be married.
I know. I should have decided right there and then. So
Oh.
he fell a little bit in my estimation then again. But actually, then he went and he learned a few songs from Christy Moore and
Fair play.
belted it.
That was my favorite of all time.
Yeah, smart man. She made you work for it.
And which song did you learn first, Pat?
Right on.
Right on. The good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
very good. Good choice. Smart man.
One of my favorites is The Ordinary Man.
Oh, I love that too, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Great song.
Yeah.
I love
That's funny.
Yeah, who's Christy Moore? Like, would you believe that?
Yeah. Yeah. Him with a yoga mat too. God, come on.
Him with the yoga mat, exactly.
Oh.
I was like, Seamus, who's Christy Moore? Who's Christy Moore?
So,
David's a walking jukebox. He's great. He knows all those. But that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. That was in 1998. Because
wow.
we went back
You guys had, what, a 7-year run in Vegas then, right?
7 years. Yeah. It was split up. You know, when we first, like I said, getting back to that, we waited 6 weeks to get out there, and then the first couple days, that was crazy too. You'd swear there was a pandemic when we got to Vegas. Rebecca and I didn't talk to each other. The first 3 days it was crazy, and then so like we had rehearsals during the day, and then at nighttime we had shows for all the taxi drivers, all the Cirque du Soleil people, you know, all the
service workers.
All the service workers. So July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, we had all those at the show, and then July 4th we opened up. 1998, we opened up the show and had a big party at Motown with, you know, Flatley, and everyone came. You know, Brad Pitt was there, Goldie Hawn, Kurt Russell. So Rebecca and I, we talked that night, and then the rest is history, right?
So speaking of Mike, you said Michael Flatley was there, right? And how, what was your interactions with him throughout the show, and what was he like?
I'll let Rebecca, you go a little bit. You have a little story. You have stories about him too. He
didn't get you a yoga mat, did he?
No, he never got me a yoga mat, Mark. Never got me a yoga mat. I mean, to be honest, he probably came out to us in Vegas maybe like 4 or 5 times.
Okay.
I mean, he was a nice guy. He was really nice to all of us. We were kind of warned, like, just don't get too close or don't spend too much time, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I think the first time that he came out, and we were all kind of warned, you know, just, you know, Michael likes to party as well, so, but, you know, you're probably better off just keeping your distance. But a couple of the Irish lads didn't listen to that, and they ended up back in his suite in the MGM, and oh boy, I think one of them was fired the next day because they kind of drank a bottle of tequila with him, and I don't think things went really all that well. So yeah, somebody got fired the next day. Isn't that right, love? Somebody got thrown out of the show the next day for that.
Was it a test, or they just went overboard?
I think, you know, yeah, I think
overboard.
This kid challenged him to drink. Said, "Hey, I bet you I can outdrink you after a few." And you know, Flatley actually does have a wooden leg, man. That like fair play to him, you know. So like Flatley was Michael was cool to us. Like Flatley came into a little bit later in our kind of show kind of time as well. When so we were in Vegas, you know, those 7 years. After Vegas, they split up the troupe. The first 4 years we were at New York, and then there was an interim period where people went on the road. You know, it was like we were shocked that Vegas ended, you know, in New York of all places, because they just built this new lovely pub called Nine Fine Irishmen, and we're like, wow, that's going to be, they'll go hand in hand. Rebecca actually had left the show for a year to go finish college right around September 11th. So Rebecca was done with the show. I got sent to the touring company. Rebecca, after college, missed it, whatever, you know, and wanted to come back, you know. So she came back. We met, ended up getting back to Vegas. And Rebecca and I actually broke up in Vegas, and we were going to go our separate ways, and that was it. We were going to get split up. You know, we probably thought I was going to get sent to the North American tour because of, you know, not worried about visas and all that carry on, and Rebecca was going to go to the European tour, or there was a troupe that was going to choreograph and make up a show with Flatley called Celtic Tiger. I don't know if you remember that. That was another big one that came.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, you went and you kind of figured what your fate was going to be when you went in the office and where you're going. And at this stage, Rebecca and I, you know, we weren't together. That was it. We were done. And they picked 10 dancers to go to Vegas, and out of the 10, we were 2 of them.
Wow.
So if that's not destiny, then, you know, I don't know.
It was meant to be.
Yeah. So we spent months and months in Donnybrook, in Dublin, doing a show, and a show that was like, it felt like it was going nowhere, and we were creating all these numbers, and then they were getting squashed, and creating new ones, and like with Flatley every day too. So when you ask about Flatley was always like, you don't talk to him, but then you're here and you're talking to him every day, like he's a normal guy, you know. I'm sure behind the scenes, you know, he has a lot of people doing his dirty work, you know, just like most kind of like CEOs or whatever. But, you know, he, without him, he really, you know, he put Irish dancing on the map, and he gave, you know, he gave me, my, you know, a wife, a family, you know, it was just, you know, so like getting to talk to him one-on-one, and he's very partial to Cleveland. I don't know if you knew this, but Flatley spent a lot of time in Cleveland.
Spent a lot of time in Cleveland back in the day.
Back in the day,
Yeah.
you know, he's from Chicago, and he was very good friends with the Bolin family. Anthony
Right.
Bolin, really good friends. And
He would stay on Lakewood Heights Boulevard.
yeah, he would stay with him, and then he also danced with Al and Celine O'Leary's son. Colin O'Leary unfortunately passed away, but they were dance buddies. And so he was really fond of Cleveland. So he used to call me Big Pat. You know, how's everyone doing in Cleveland? You know, he was cool. You know, he would speak to me in an American accent, but when he's on the TV, he always has that little twang on him. You know.
Yeah.
But I can't say a bad word about Michael. You know, he was like I said, he was great for us, and you know,
Yeah.
Rebecca was at his wedding and all that stuff back in Cork, and you know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's you know, he was good. He like I said, he can't say a bad word, and you know, blessed that he, you know, like one thing too, he gave our parents opportunities to come to Vegas. I mean, when would my mom and dad ever come to Vegas? You know,
Never.
like
Yeah.
Rebecca, she can piggyback.
My parents, all my family came over as well. Everybody's parents came to Vegas. They thought they were just so excited to have that opportunity. So no, we would have had none of that without him. So
Great experience.
no
Yeah.
He actually married one of my roommates from Vegas. There's a girl, his wife, Neve, her and I shared together in Vegas. So yeah, I got to go to his wedding, and I've been to a couple of parties down in Castle Hyde. So yeah, it was great.
Wow.
He's a good guy.
That's good to hear. That's good stories, and thanks for sharing that. Obviously you have kids now and stuff. And I know Charlie's is the big dancer, right? Is she kind of the one that's leading the way in the dancing? Is aspirations of Lord of the Dance type stuff for her, you think?
You know what? It's the
No way.
Yeah.
No way. Too much crack, man. Too much crack.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, no, there's not as much opportunity. Almost, thankfully, Mark, there isn't as much opportunity for the youngsters to do that kind of stuff now. You know,
Yeah.
I think that ship has kind of sailed, and you know, the market was flooded for a while there with loads of different Irish dancing shows.
But do you think this past year there was a revival of Riverdance, the anniversary show and everything? It seemed to it picked up for a bit, and you're right, it did kind of, the anniversary tour didn't really have that big boom I think they were expecting, almost like, you know, they're going to cash in once again, but it seemed to come and go.
Yeah, I think once you've seen it once, you know, I think that's enough. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. For me, anyway, I don't know how excited I'd be to go to another Irish dancing show. Granted, we did do 9 shows a week for 7 years, so we probably had our fill.
Been there, done that. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but
So-
Charlie's a great dancer. She's an open champion. She should have been at the World Championships in Dublin.
Right?
It was the 50th anniversary of the World Irish Dancing Championships. You know, there was great preparations went into that this year. CLRG, like our governing body, they had put so much work into it.
All the hotel rooms, everything, and
everything booked, everything ready to rock and roll. And you know, they had to wait until like the government said that all of that stuff was, you know, that they couldn't have those big gatherings. So they kind of had to wait till the very end to pull the plug on it.
Unfortunate.
So, yeah, but you know, to be honest, the airlines and everything like that have been pretty good about giving people their money back or giving them vouchers for next year. So please God, it'll all go ahead next year. The 50th will be next year in Dublin.
Yeah, go back bigger and better, right? So. And,
yeah. We had 9 kids, 9 of our dancers, Brady Campbell dancers, should have been heading over to Dublin.
Wow.
So on that note, Brady Campbell, you have the School of Dance, right? So obviously upstairs the pub. Talk a little bit about that and where that all came from, the idea and the concept, I guess.
Let's take one step backwards, because we fast forward 7 years, and then I don't know, Pat, shortly after you come back, that's when you started working on PJs. And PJs, if I'm not wrong, came before the dance, Brady Campbell dance, correct?
Yes. PJs, so how PJs came about was every time we used to get 2 weeks off every 6 months, and every time I come home, my cousin Tommy Lenahan, he owns Treehouse, and he's a barrio guy now, but he, like back then, he owned Treehouse and 806 Wine and Martini Bar, and he was kind of very prominent in the Tremont area. So I would go down there to visit, and every time I'd see him, he'd say, "Hey, let's you ever think about opening a bar?" And I was like, I wasn't ready. So years and years after came by, and he said, "You ready to open a bar?" And I was like, "But man, I mean, how much does it cost?" You know, and he's like, "We'll figure it out." You know, so we went on the hunt to find a building. My dance teacher, Bobby Masterson, God bless him, he found this location that we're at right now. We were that close, and when I say that close, we were probably one shot away of Powers with the owner of Bartley's, right? You remember Bartley's, Ireland 32 right now?
Right, yeah.
We almost bought that, and we were going to build on top of that the dance studio and the party room on top of that and extend it. And we were in the running for Kilbane's. I don't know if you remember Kilbane's right there. We were in the thatched cottage. We had all these ideas, and so we were blessed to find this building. The guy that owns one side owns the other side, and the people in the middle, they were great people. The O'Boyle family, they disliked the guy on either side, so they held out to sell to him. So we came in here, so Bobby Master got us at the building, and built that in 2006. It took 13 months, to build. Took time, and Jimmy, yourself, and and money. It goes fast. So so that was 2006. We opened PJ's in 2007, which was I didn't know what to expect. That those of you that know the band Lunasa, our fiddle player in Lord of the Dance, her name was Brady Smith, and her husband Jim Higgins, he was in the Saw Doctors and Alton, and he's actually touring with Christy Moore right now. Funny as you say. I went to go see them last year. Christy, and my really good friends of ours is a percussion player. So we were over in Ireland visiting, and Sean Smith, we had met many times. He's a phenomenal musician who was in Lunasa. We were talking about the pub and stuff, and I said, we're opening, and I said, I don't know when we're going to open. He's like, we're going to be touring there. I said, God, I'd love to have you there. I said, but I don't know what I can pay and all that stuff. He said, I don't care about that. He said, I'm going to give you a date. And sure enough, he texted my Irish cell phone the next day, and he gave me a date of September 19th. And I was like, what year? And he's like, this year. And this was in March. So if it wasn't for Lunasa, PJ's would probably not have opened to that following January. We only had one bathroom, the kitchen. Oh man, there was all crazy stuff going on in the kitchen, and it was amazing.
I remember,
And all they charged me that night was $600 in hotel rooms.
Wow.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
Next time I got him was $3,000.
He set you up nicely.
Set me up, right? But that night I felt bad because there's probably about 300 people here, and probably 40 of them were just like, Lunasa's here. I mean, like, all 4 of us are like probably diehard. I'd love to go see Lunasa right now, you know?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So then Brady Campbell came about. Brady Campbell came about in 2008, the year after Bobby Masterson retired, and he said, the sooner that you come home from the road, you can have the school. So whenever PJ's got done, we took over Bobby's dancers. We took over about 35 kids.
Wow.
And I started a little class, and then, you know, grew that. Rebecca was at home with the, you know, raising the kids or whatever, and I taught kind of for the first 4 years, and then kind of, you know, roles reversed. I joined the Cleveland Fire Department, and Rebecca it was full steam ahead. That really wasn't in Rebecca's kind of plan, but now she does an amazing job at it. So yeah, Rebecca really did not want to teach, I understand.
Well, hats off to both of you, because PJ McIntyre's, when you say that, you have like the premier, one of the premier, if not the premier bar in the city. You guys have done a fantastic job there. And come on, Bobby Masterson, he's been Irish dancing in West Side forever.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Brady Campbell is right up there with Masterson School of Dance. So
Didn't Bobby teach you, Jimmy? Weren't you going to show us a few steps or no?
yeah, he was just at our cottage a few weeks ago, because that's Sheila's cousin.
Oh yeah. Bobby's a legend. Him and Mary are very special to us. He's like a second father. She's like, they're amazing people.
Yes.
And Bobby still teaches with us. He still teaches with us. He teaches the beginners and the next group. Yeah, and they absolutely love him. He's probably, like, there's probably 6 of us that teach, and he is by far the favorite.
Yeah.
He's a legend. He's a legend, you know what I mean, in Cleveland, in dancing circles, regardless of what school.
He gives them cough drops. He bribes them for sure.
No, you know what he does? He's so kind with them all, and he tells them all you're my champ.
Yeah, builds up their confidence. Yeah.
You're my champ, and he just loves that.
How big is the school now?
I think maybe just over 100, maybe.
Wow, that's a crazy growth. Well done.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this now, with this crazy world we're in now with COVID-19, how did you manage to keep going? Was it Zoom or you did Zoom meetings, schooling with the kids then?
Yeah, we're doing Zoom. So there's myself, Haley Costell, Haley Taylor, Quinn Corrigan, Katie Wenger. So we're all teaching via Zoom. So it's actually worked out really well. It's obviously not the ideal platform to teach Irish dancing, but we've actually adapted pretty well, I would say, to it. I should say the kids have adapted pretty well to it. It's a little bit difficult teaching the beginners. I spend most of my time saying, could you put the dog down? Could you get off your couch? Could you stop spinning?
Put your phone down.
Yeah, so I do spend a lot of my time saying that kind of stuff, but like, they're super cute, and to be honest, the little ones are just so happy, I think, to see each other and and to see ourselves. So, you know, we play a few games and stuff like that and make it fun for them too. And then we've all the levels all the way up, and then with our champion dancers, I actually really just do like a pretty hardcore workout with them. Like, I just keep their fitness level up. Do some drills with them for dancing, and then they have to go outside onto their driveways and have somebody record them do their light and their heavy round and their set, and then they send that to me and I critique them and send it back.
So there's no escaping it. Yeah.
No, so the kids are pretty good, but they're all chomping at the bit to get back to, you know, live classes, in-person
How's that look? Any word on when that may start again, or kind of what's your guys' plans there?
We are allowed to reopen on the 26th. The guidelines are not, I need to look a little bit more closely at that. But I was under the impression that we couldn't have any more than 10 in a class, but I was told today that we can have more than that, just depending on our square footage. So we just need to really work that out exactly, because I can bring back, like, let's say the champion class, but even with that, I'd end up teaching 8 classes instead of 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everything is just doubled.
Right.
So moving forward, I don't know if that was to continue. I don't know how we could reopen in September with those kind of restrictions. Like, you just be teaching every hour that God sends,
Yeah,
you know?
it's not doable. Yeah, you run yourself into the grind, you know?
Yeah, so we'll see. We're going to keep the online platform going for the younger kids, and for the families that are not comfortable to come back, because, you know, obviously we have people that are at varying levels of comfort with regards to being back out, which is completely understandable. So we will cater to all of them as much as we possibly can. But yeah, I can't wait to get back in the studio. Can't wait.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
And the pub now, today is your opening day, and I'm assuming you're open now, correct?
Yeah, we're opening now. It's been really calm, which is, you know, it's just nerve-wracking having a staff meeting, and, you know, it puts a lot of pressure on the staff. You know, it really does. You know,
yes.
They are like, excuse my Gaelic, man, but they are shitting their pants because you don't know what's right and what's wrong or whatever. So, you know, and then, you know, as you probably heard, it's hard getting people to come back. You know,
Sure.
It's going to take a little while for consumer confidence to gain.
But I think they don't want to come back for the wrong reasons. They like that money.
Yeah.
So I understand that, but as you know, you're a business owner. You just don't. I can't get in the gym. Obviously, I want to do everything the best for my employees.
Right. They're your family.
Then you have that PPP money you have to use during a certain amount of time, and that has to be. It's really diligent. We just got guidelines I got sent out yesterday by KeyBank, so they're kind of locking that down. It was very vague when it came out, and
they
now
got stricter now.
I seen on the news today they were talking about you know, I think it was Andrew Zimmerman or Andrew Zimmer, the food guy.
Yeah.
Saucy Brewworks, right? Saucy Brewworks.
No. He's a national target. He did that one where you go eat all the bizarre foods everywhere, all around the world. But he was on the news this morning, and I guess the entrepreneurs of America, the restaurateurs, bar restaurateurs, had a meeting with the president and the vice president, and just saying how the PPP money is basically unusable the way they have it for that 2 weeks, and you have to keep your whole staff. Who can go right from total shutdown to full staff and spend that money and not get penalized?
Yeah.
So they're talking about now stretching that out to a 4-month period. It's just talk now, but that's the first I heard of that, and that was this morning. I was up at 4 a.m. It was on the news.
That's a good point. I mean, when we talked to Brendan Ring a couple of weeks ago, he said the exact same thing. You know, it's just unrealistic, the restrictions they put on you. Yeah. So I think I think everyone's learning now, like, okay, this was not the right way to do this, and they're starting to tweak it. And
right.
It's never going to be perfect, right?
I mean, they're definitely trying to help, which is great. I mean, my money was deposited on April 18th. So that 8-week ticker starts right there. I mean,
right.
I mean, 8 weeks is, I mean, that's
you're halfway done.
Right. Yeah. You're 5 weeks into it now, and you're just opening today. So
yeah.
You basically got 3 weeks.
Yeah, one good thing about Ohio Liquor, though, I went and got some liquor today, and I mean, I was shocked I didn't hear about this because, you know, I'm on a lot of group messages, and, you know, everyone's trying to stick together and how to open and whatever. But those of you who are listening or whatever that own bars or whatever, the state is giving you a $500 rebate.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did not know that. So, like, I went and picked up a few things, like our big orders tomorrow. But I went and picked up an order today, and it was $1.17.
I actually went last week and tried to do that myself, and they wouldn't let me get the rebate, unfortunately. So I tried, yeah.
Mark was in the middle of a liquor store going, wow, how much is this beautiful apartment?
When can I move in?
Right.
That's good. I mean, well, hopefully there's going to be changes. There's going to be still some struggles with it. And, hopefully the government does the right thing and helps you guys out the way they should. I mean, this was no one's fault, right? Couldn't control this. So,
Right.
So I have to ask, I did see a thing on Facebook a few weeks ago about you were doing carry out food, right? Or takeout food.
Yes.
What were the top, if you were to talk about the top 3 sellers, what were people buying the most? I saw something on Facebook.
From our place.
Yeah, from PJ's.
Our top 3 sellers from the carry out were our Irish egg rolls, number 1.
I knew it.
Our fish and chips, and then third that no one has really tried, or I mean some have, is our pot roast. Man, our pot roast is off the chain.
Wow.
So those are our top 3. What I didn't even see. I'm not on Bookface. I call it Bookface. I'm not on Facebook or whatever, but so I didn't
still
see it.
Still on MySpace, yeah.
Yeah, Bebo. I have a Bebo account still.
I'm still on AOL dial-up.
Yeah, it's full.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. The Irish.
I have a great story. I have a good story, you two knuckleheads. The first time I met you, Jimmy, and the first time I met you, Mark, I don't know if you remember.
Oh, Jesus. Were we drinking? Right. Were we drinking by chance, Pat?
Well, this is crazy.
Jimmy, how heavy were we drinking? Not were we drinking?
Right. Those that you don't know, okay, so I come back to Cleveland, right? I'm like, I bring all my buddies.
I love this story.
7 guys from Lord of the Dance, right?
I remember that night.
It so happens that the Saw Doctors are playing down in the flats, right?
At the Odeon.
At the Odeon, right? My buddy Jim Higgins was there. We all got in. They're all wearing Celtic shirts. Mark and your friend from Carroll, you guys were handing out. What were you guys handing out? Probably stuff for I don't even know. What were you guys giving away?
We were giving away, I think it was stickers or something, or
yeah,
CDs, maybe.
We had radio. We had CDs and stickers from the radio show.
Bumper stickers.
And I think we were emceeing the stage that night for them.
We did. We drank the Doctor's beer before they got in the back room.
That was the only reason we loved at the Odeon, because we would go out, do our little shtick, intro the bands. And then we'd go back in their dressing room, and they had that big stand-up, commercial bar cooler back there. And whatever they were drinking, well, Mark and I just like, man, we got our own private bathroom, and we got a cooler full of beer. What more can we ask for? And the band's like 50 foot to the side. We're running around taking pictures on the stage and stuff, drinking all their beer. We had a blast down there.
I remember, what was the guy from Donegal in the band? Pierce, was it Pierce Doherty?
Oh, he was great. Oh, Pierce. Yeah. Oh, he's not with them anymore. No,
because he went to the treehouse with us afterwards that night.
Yes.
And he was like, "Did you guys drink all the beer?" I'm like, "No, we would never do that." No. He's like, "Come on, you're from Derry."
Well, that came back to haunt you guys. So I don't know if you remember. I met Mark that night with all my buddies, and he's like, "Hey, let's go back to Sheehan's, right? Let's go back to Sheehan's." So these guys were still on Vegas time, right?
Oh.
Mark doesn't want to go home.
It's 2 in the morning.
He calls you and says, "Hey, the guys from Lord of the Dance are here, and they're not stopping." And you, Jimmy, said, "Hey, they can stay. Give them the keys." We stayed there. That was great. So we used your bathroom and your beer. So thank you.
I remember.
I don't know if you remember that day Mark was working that day. Oh, man, that was when you could.
I still had the keys in my pocket, yeah.
So do I.
I remember, Pat, when the first times then when you were home and you came in. And so, everybody wanted you to give us the stuff. There's local kids
prodigal
home.
Son.
Yeah.
And I remember you got up reluctantly. We had to coax you into it. For a few beverages, you would do anything back then. But I remember when you kicked up and you jumped so high, I thought, my God, he's going to smash his head on the ceiling. You literally came like 2 inches from whacking your head on the ceiling, but it was incredible.
They were great times, man. That was a long. Wasn't it Wednesday night?
Bridges Cross was Wednesday nights.
Those 2 weeks we got every 6 months, I was so happy that I had 2 Wednesdays because I knew Bridges Cross was the best.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And I lived literally a baseball throw. My parents lived in 38.
Right next to Mark's,
Right next to Mark's.
Oh my
man.
God. I just remember that Sunday night. Hey, I got the keys in my pocket. Let me call Jimmy.
We called Jimmy, and you were like, "Yeah, why not? Block him in."
Oh, Jesus.
We
That
almost
was,
missed our flight, and that was when you were able to go to the gate back in the day. That was probably the last time I remember. One guy from Coventry, this guy Rob Wilson, he was sitting there. He kept shaking his head. He was a white kid, but man, he was even whiter. Like I just remember seeing. He was like Casper the Ghost. He's like, I can't drink anymore, man. I gotta go.
oh God. I think we ended up
Great
at Rubens
guys,
after that at some place afterwards
And
for
then my
breakfast.
buddy Big D, he didn't know where he was too. He started peeing. That was when Fado's open. He was peeing outside Fado's, and
On the
Timmy
flats, yeah.
Riley, Timmy Riley's like, I think because the cops couldn't understand him. Timmy was walking in, and they were like interrogating my buddy Big D, and he's this innocent Irish kid, and
Yeah.
he's like, oh no, let's just go for a piss. Let's go for a piss. And they and
Timmy was
Riley
going to
got
arrest
out
him
of-
for fun. Yeah.
He got him out of the ticket. So man, that was good time.
Timmy used to work with your dad.
Yeah, with the Lynches, right?
With the Lynches, right? Yeah. So Timmy was a big fan of your father's.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, Timmy's great, and I'm really good friends with his brother Jimmy now. They're good people, good family.
Yeah. Yes, they are.
That's a funny story. I'll never forget that night.
So give us a PJ story. I'm sure you've had some cherished moments in there. Come on.
Oh yeah, we've had PJ stories. I don't know if I can say it on the air, but we've had some PJ stories. Well, I mean the after hours too. I mean, having the basement has been
Lock in.
But that night with Lunasa, right? They had a guitar player. Do you remember that guy, that crazy guy? They had never did a bomb. Lunasa never did bombs. They didn't know what our flavor was mango, right? So anytime we see him, they shout out, oh, Pat and Rebecca, but the one guy, he went outside and he passed out on. He was literally laying in the back parking lot, just like doing a snow angel. He was out for the count, and he like just from. I mean, obviously there's drink involved or whatever, but one of the best stories was that the Taoiseach from Ireland, Enda Kenny, was here. He came before he was, the president or whatever. Before we were open, he was in town, and we had after hours with him. He was hilarious. And talk about singing, we passed around a tuba cock, and the tuba cock was the microphone. It was great. There was no stage. I have a picture of Enda Kenny singing out of a tuba cock. It was, man.
That's funny.
Complete blackmail.
A good Mayo
Speaking
man
of
too.
car bombs, I got a quick Mark Owens story for you.
Oh, car bombs, forget it.
Gosh.
When Mark came back from, he had his semester here at John Carroll, and then he had to go home for a while, and then he came back. So, hey, Mark, you want to bartend for a few shifts, get you some cash in your pocket. Some guy comes in and goes, hey, you know how to make an Irish car bomb? Mark being from Derry, yeah, sure. Pound of C4 and a keg of nails. And the guy just looked at him like, are you crazy? Mark's like, what? Because he didn't know what an Irish car bomb was here.
Yeah.
That's
Then I refused to make them too, So
Right. After that, yeah, you wouldn't make them.
yeah,
Rebecca nursed a lot in the north, right? Back in the day when it was rough back then. You were there.
Yeah, I did my nurse training in Dundonald,
Okay.
which is a really loyalist area.
I was waiting for your words there.
Yeah.
Wouldn't
It
be
was
very
like,
Catholic. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I went from there to Newton Ards, which was even more.
Just as bad, yeah.
It was even worse. So yeah, I learned a lot. I learned where to keep my mouth shut. Let's put it that way. Yeah, you had to be very careful. You had to be very careful where you went and what you said, and
Yeah.
That was crazy. The first time you brought me to the north to visit your brother Anthony, they literally stopped you to stop the car, and they were asking. What got me going is they knew your name, whether you were Catholic or Protestant. That was crazy to me. That they could tell. I mean, obviously accent wise, but your name.
Well, they can tell where you went to school and what your name is and what team you support. I mean, it's crazy how you can tell. You 9 times out of 10, you can tell if someone's a Catholic or Protestant by their name or their, the soccer team they follow. That's just what we grew up with,
But all the streets are that all that's done, right? All the the painted streets and all that. Right?
They still, certain areas they still do that. I think that's more tradition at this point, just to keep
okay.
it. So.
Do they still do Drum Creek on the 12th of July?
It's canceled this year. The Orange Parade got canceled.
Oh, well,
there is a silver lining.
Right.
There is a silver lining after all.
There's a silver lining, yeah, absolutely. Crazy.
So it is what it is. I mean, that's all tradition, and unfortunately, we all lived through that, and hopefully, people get past that at some point.
This is great stuff. What you guys are doing, I really enjoyed. Rebecca called me. I was actually at the firehouse, and she called me and she said, "Man, Jimmy and Mark are doing great things." I was like, "What?" They're like,
"Yeah, I loved it."
I was so happy the boys were back together, and then it was great listening to Brendan and Declan. They were great.
Yeah,
they were awesome. They were awesome.
Rebecca's like, "Who are those guys? They're good crack." It was nice to hear their voice. Because being Rebecca, gets homesick or whatever.
I know. I enjoyed Brendan Ring's stories. He was hilarious.
Oh, he tells it like it is. And one thing we did say with Brendan, we will do a live show over there, but we'd love to do the same at PJ's at some point too. Do a live podcast from the
when it gets back to semi-normal, yes, we would love to do a live show. And likewise, anything you guys got coming up, you want to promote, drop us a line. We'll promote anything you got, whether it's through the dance school or PJ's. We'd be
Thank you, Jimmy.
We could shave your mustache on the next show live on air.
That'd be good.
A fundraiser for the Worlds.
Lunas is playing here Monday for Memorial Day, so no, I'm just kidding. I wish.
Yeah.
No, get rid of it. I want you to get rid of it. I said to him today, I was like, look, the bar's opened, so get rid of the mustache.
Reputation, Pat. Come on, reputation. You look.
Yeah, a lot of crumbs. I wanted to curl it at the end, but we got to get some wax.
Yeah, good luck.
But I actually reached out to Brendan after listening to him, because he's, he knows he's in this business longer than I am. And I reached out to him just to kind of pick his brain a little bit. It was good. He texted back right away and gave me some good feedback. So fair play,
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's a great community guy, like you both are as well. I mean, you guys have been great for, Jimmy mentioned earlier, PJ's being one of the recognized bars. You think West Park, you think PJ's, and a lot of the stuff you guys have done there with the Hooli and just giving back to sponsoring different teams and organizations and fundraisers.
Mark, you brought, the football, and we have the language, we have dance. It's almost like its own mini kind of, like
awesome.
American Club. We have the pipe bands that play, several pipe bands. It's great. You come in here and we're like the Irish Cheers. Everyone knows someone or having a rough time. You come on in here, or someone knows someone, and that's what's the best about.
If not, you'll know them when you leave.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. That's
true.
That's awesome. Well, we appreciate everything you guys do, and as Jimmy said, our stuff you guys want plugged on the air, on the Facebook page, on the web, whatever it is, let us know. We can get the word out as well, and we all have good networks of people that we all share stuff with.
Good stuff. How are you guys? How are your families? Everyone's good? Everyone's hanging in there?
Everyone's good. Yes, social distancing and.
Yeah.
But
kids are getting fed up, I think.
Yeah, I still have to work, so Sheila's been living at the lake house, and Mark's been up there. So it's almost like Sheila and Mark are living together because they're texting each other all day long because they're only, a stone's throw from each other. and my phone's blowing up at work, and I'm like, "Will you guys leave me alone? I'm busy." But other than that, we're all good. Everything is good. Everything's good.
Yeah.
Everybody we know is healthy, and that's all that matters.
That's the same. Maria and the kids are, working away. But I think the kids are getting to the point where they're just like, okay, when's summer coming? When can I stop doing? They've been doing their schoolwork every day, and credit to the teachers. I tell you, if people didn't appreciate teachers before this, they sure as hell better appreciate them now, because they have learned on the fly, like all of us. Yeah. They have done a phenomenal job, regardless of what district you're in. Kudos to them.
I agree, Mark. Big time. Yeah. Same with our kids, and I have one a freshman, one in fifth, and one in third, and the teachers have done an amazing job.
Yeah. I said to someone last week, if you were thinking of putting a levy on the ballot for a school district anytime soon, this is a year to do it, because people are going to be like, take my money, teach my kids, take them back. How much do you want? I think this is the year to put it on the ballot. Not that I'm encouraging it, but
Well,
It's,
after
they've
a
done
couple
great.
months of homeschooling, yeah, I think.
Yeah, I don't do homeschooling. No.
The over this coronavirus, Rebecca and I have been we like to tell jokes. So I'm going to give you one before I leave, and Rebecca's going to give you one before she leaves. So my one is.
I've got a great one.
So my one is not Irish, but where did they take the boy that got hurt playing the game peekaboo? Peekaboo. Where did they take the boy that got hurt playing peekaboo? I see you. Shout out to my cousin Margaret McIntyre. That's her. And also.
Oh God! Quit while you're ahead or behind.
Real quick.
I know.
Have you guys been watching the Beer with the Lads? The Coen brothers?
Oh, Kevin Coyne and those guys have done an awesome job.
They have been awesome. They are hilarious. They're awesome. So I just want to say I want to give a big shout out to those guys. I hope you're watching this. All right, guys. It's
the Kevin Coyne wave.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, you have to.
I haven't seen it either.
Oh, it's great.
That's how they salute you. They say, "Hey, I want to say hi to my friends out there. How you doing? Hey, what's up?"
Oh, they're great. Yeah.
They're great.
So Rebecca closes out with a good joke because you got to bring Pat back. Yeah.
Yeah. I think this one just amuses me more than anybody else for some reason. So that's my disclaimer before I start. So, what's the difference between Dubai and Abu Dhabi?
I don't know.
I heard this, but go ahead.
So, the people from Dubai don't like the Flintstones, but the people from Abu Dhabi do.
Oh my God! All right.
I got a quick one for you then.
Oh shit!
So, lad's in Ireland. He goes to work and he calls his wife up and he says, "Mary, I got a wee problem. I cut my finger off at work." And she says, "Oh, babe, Jesus. Is it your whole finger?" He said, "No, dear, it's the one next to it."
Oh my God!
Mark, best for last.
No, I can't talk that to me. That was
I don't know. Did you see on the news today? It was really sad. The guy that I don't know. A lot of people have been dying for this, and God rest him. But the guy that invented the hokey pokey died from the COVID or whatever they announced on CNN. But they had trouble burying him, I guess. Every time they put his right leg in, they had to.
All right.
And then he turned himself around.
It's like the founder of IKEA. They're still trying to bury him because he can't find the instructions for the coffin. So. All right, listen, guys.
All right.
This was phenomenal. This was great.
Thank you both so much for your time. It's so lovely.
Thank you, guys.
To see your guys' faces.
We're going to be back next Thursday. We're back in West Park. We're back in West Park next week with Connor Boylan from 5 Points Coffee. And then Andrew McManus, the singer, and then Paul McAvinci as well from Dublin.
Yeah.
So the three lads will be joining us next Thursday at 7
Paul's
o'clock.
good dude, man. Paul's great.
He's awesome.
His brother Shane.
Yeah.
So brother Shane, yeah. Oh,
we'll be with us next week. So we'll see you guys next Thursday.
Stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
7 o'clock.
I hope they have some jokes.
Yeah,
nothing
it can't be
can
much
top
worse
yours.
than yours. All right, sounds good, guys.
All right, thanks for everything. Remember, everybody out there, they can follow us, the Kitchen Party Podcast, on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Sign up for our emails and our alerts about our upcoming podcast. If there's something you guys want to hear or see or talk about or you think would be interesting or just make fun of me and Mark, drop us a line because we love it.
Why not? Everyone else does.
And remember, the Facebook links for PJ McIntyre's Irish Pub or at PJ McIntyre's Irish Pub and at Brady Campbell School of Irish Dance. You can create a Facebook post to that. You can catch this on Twitter, on Facebook Live. It's going to be live now on Facebook. And thanks to Zoom, because Zoom is, I think, saving.
Zoom is amazing.
But thank you guys so much for your time. All the best to you.
Thanks,
love,
guys. Love your family.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Talk soon.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thank you.
Family.
All right. Same to you. Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye, Jimmy.
Bye-bye. How do I do this? Stop recording. Okay. Were you watching it?